Like 5,000 likes to this video, we will upload more patriotic news. Thank you. Warpath Trump just threatened to do unthinkable to Venezuela. When Donald Trump saw the civil war erupting in Venezuela, he didn't simply turn his back. No sir, President Trump marched up to the reporters, looked into the dead center of the cameras, and declared with confidence. He is considering a possible military option to deal with Venezuela. In case you were unaware, Venezuela is a socialist hellhole run by a dictator named Maduro who delights in the slaughter and starvation of his own people. And when the reporters pried why Trump would consider military options, he said, "They are close." Now, before you freak, it makes sense. We send troops to the Middle East but we cannot defend our neighbors, and stop a refugee crisis. That's ridiculous. To put the icing on the cake, the president of Venezuela actually called Trump an hour after the press conference and Trump refused to take the call. Oh, and then he made a press release from the White House about his refusal. Love him or hate him, nobody cannot say Trump is not a tough guy willing to fight for what he believes in. If you agree with Trump on Venezuela, share this out and let him know America backs our president. Right after doing something sick to Barron, this comedian did something even worse. Looks like actions don't have consequences. Saturday Night Live writer Katie Rich is apparently back on the job after being suspended in January for saying on Twitter that Barron, Trump, will be this country's first homeschool shooter. Critics from both sides of the aisle condemned the tweet, which she later deleted. Rich also issued an apology several days later. Some Twitter users did not think the apology was good enough, others called for her firing. Rich was initially indefinitely suspended for her insensitive tweet, but she had writing credits for Thursday night's Weekend Update, Summer Edition. Whether or not she will continue to write for SNL is unknown. Yet this lady said Barron Trump, an 11-year-old child, would kill his own family. How messed up is that? But I guess when you're a liberal in media, you'll always have a job. H/T Fox News. Right after Trump urged unity in Charlottesville, sicko KKK leader David Duke did something disgusting. Former KKK Grand Wizard David Duke just blasted President Trump, saying he feels attacked by the president. Violence erupted in Charlottesville, Virginia today at the Unite the Right event. The event attracted unsavory elements such as white supremacists and neo-Nazis, who clashed with counter-protesters. President Trump condemned the violence in no uncertain terms and urged unity between all Americans. This message apparently incensed former Grand Wizard Duke, however, who put the president on blast. "This guy is sick." President Trump never stood for white nationalism. President Trump has repeatedly said he would be president to all Americans. And that's exactly what he's doing right now in his quest for unity. The left is always saying that Trump supporters are white nationalist Nazis, which real supporters of the president know is not true. It's a great sign that David Duke is turning on President Trump. The president doesn't need this wacko KKK guy to give him support. He's got millions of normal, hard-working Americans who just want a better deal than the current political establishment has been giving them. The MSM will continue to call President Trump and his supporters all manner of vile things, however, and totally ignore that the white nationalist David Duke is criticizing the president. That's why we're asking you to share this 5 million times to get around them. We need to get this one out there. President Trump is not racist, and neither are his supporters. That's why we're asking you to share this 5 million times. H/T. Look, WHO's back. What Jeff Sessions just said about Virginia violence made Trump cheer. After the upsurge in violence over the weekend in Virginia, Jeff Sessions is sick and tired of seeing innocent Americans' lives lost. The Attorney General released a statement earlier today, saying that he stands united behind the president in condemning the violence in Charlottesville and any message of hate and intolerance. Sessions went on to say that the violence is totally contrary to American values and can never be tolerated, adding that our Justice Department would support local and state officers on the scene in any way possible. Sessions' statement comes only a few hours after President Trump's own thoughts on the subject. "We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry and violence on many sides, Trump said. "What do you think should be done? Make sure to let us know." Trump just left everyone speechless with who he just blamed for violence in Charlottesville. Today was a dark and sad day for America. An attempted protest turned into a horrific violent outburst in Charlottesville, VA that left at least one person dead. The clash resulted when two despicable groups, white supremacists and Antifa, clashed over the removal of a Robert E. Lee statue. Within almost no time flat, President Trump took action by saying a few words that left everyone in America breathless. Trump said this violence was caused by hate and bigotry by liberals and conservatives and many, many more. President Trump made his thoughts pretty darn clear when he told the reporters, "We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides, But, despite what some of the lefties are reporting, he does not stop there. He made an impassioned speech about an age-old hate, older than him or Obama, that has divided Americans along racial and religious lines for far too long. However, Trump has a prescription for what ails our nation: unity. He said it is time to learn to respect one another despite our differences and try to learn to love our neighbors. Who could possibly stand against a message so timeless and so authentically American? That's why Trump made it, and that's why we need to help share this to everyone, and I mean everyone. Black, white, Jew, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, atheist, liberal, conservative, etc. You do this, and we can hopefully unite around the greatest bond we all share, being America. God Core just rammed into riot in Charlottesville. Watch the video that's shocking America. A state of emergency was declared on Saturday after fights broke out between people attending the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, VA. Antifa and right-wing groups battled out on the streets, according to WDSU. Then suddenly a car plowed through the Antifa groups. Several people are down. This is awful. We need to pray that everyone gets out of this okay. Thank God for the cops. Right after this, Trump immediately struck out on Twitter and said the following. Terry McAuliffe tweeted this on Saturday morning: "The acts and rhetoric in Charlottesville over the past 24 hours are unacceptable. A right to speech is not right to violence. Share this everywhere, patriots. This is America. We voted for President Trump and we do not want violence on the streets. We want law and order. Stay Right after North Korea threat, Trump just called up Guam and gave best news imaginable. What the leftists want to call a vacation has actually been President Trump working around the clock to keep us safe from threats on all sides. Heck, just 2 days ago Kim Jong-un threatened to nuke Guam, a U.S. territory. So what did President Trump do? Well, only the best thing imaginable. He called up Governor Eddie Calvo, who posted the whole video online, and gave him the news Guam wanted to hear. President Trump promised that the U.S. is gonna keep Guam safe from North Korea. As you all can clearly see from that video, Governor Calvo is clearly a very big fan of the way Trump handles himself. Speaking for the people of Guam, he said he has never felt safer than he does with Trump at the helm. It's an understandable sentiment considering the things the US has let North Korea and China do in that region since the mid-90s. Thanks to a bunch of failed US leadership, North Korea has ICBMs with plutonium nukes attached and China is building artificial military islands in the South China Sea. Also, you may have noticed the two of them chatted quite a bit about tourism in Guam. It turns out that when they are not under threat, Guam really is a tropical paradise. They even put out an ad about their tourism to capitalize on the chaos. I'm not joking, so, help share Trump's message that America will always protect our allies. We need this to get out to everyone everywhere, and leave Trump a big amen in the comments.